Sao cái này đúng. My check, my check. Thank you. Once again, we settle down with me first. Okay, so welcome back to the English live stream series today. Another day, another live stream. Well, I've been talking this, I've been saying this sentence for a while, maybe in 20s live stream already. But anyway, today we're going to talk about a topic, a very controversial topic, a very wide, very broad topic, music. So yeah, you can say music is the things that is the inevitable things in your life. Music will make your life more colorful. Music will, well, do something good for you. Right? So yeah, that is why we're going to talk about music today. And since music is a very controversial area to talk about, we're going to give you a very general information about how music works, the history of it, and as well as which platform can you use to streaming music, as well as the top streamed songs on the internet these days. So this content of table for today's live stream is going to be very, very simple. We're going to focus mostly on the history of music, which means it's going to date back to the 20th century. Yeah, that is when music became popular. But however, in the 19th century, that is not when the music was invented. Okay, so here, the first question, when did we have music? So this question is kind of difficult because there are a lot of things that you cannot guarantee that the answer is correctly, because for this question, when did we have music, this question is very varied. We have a lot of results on the internet, but most of the answers saying that we have music or music was invented at least 35,000 years ago. So you see, like, you can imagine, like, until today, recently is just the year 2022, but music was there at least 35,000 years ago. And in some other theory, in some other source of information, music first arose in the Paleolithic period, which means very, very long time ago, though it remains unclear as to whether it was the middle from the 300,000 to 500,000, oh sorry, 50,000 years before present, or the upper Paleolithic 50,000 to 12,000 years before present. So you see, like, music have a very, very thick history. And in order to tell you about all the history, how the music was invented, how music has changed throughout the decades, throughout the history, I cannot do that in one live stream, because you know what? Like you see from the 15th, from the before present, like 50,000 years before present until now, it was a very, very long time ago. And yeah, the vast majority of Paleolithic instruments was mostly found in Europe and the and Europe and dates to the upper Paleolithic. Paleolithic. I don't know what is that called. Paleolithic. Thời đại đồ đá cổ. All right, so yeah, music was then. So you might think, how did people play music back then? Well, if you look it up on Wikipedia or on the internet in general, you will see there are a lot of information about the history of music and how music was formed. What was the first musical instrument was played? But if you looked it up, you can see those type of musical instruments are made from trees or from, let's say, animal bones, and it's really, really simple. However, it can create a sound. So that is when music invented, right? But yeah, for the study of for the in-depth study of music, I cannot guarantee you I can provide the precise information. However, we're gonna give you the information about how music has changed in the last 2 centuries, which means from the 20th century to the 21st century. There you go. Music history. So yeah, we don't go back to too far back in the past because you know what? Yeah, because back then the genre of music is not really clear, and there are not many statistics that we can use in order to find out which was the trend or which was the which was what was the type of music that people like at that certain time in the past. However, here we will provide you from the 1940s unto recent. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, in the 1940s, we have swing, jazz, blues, and big bands. So these type of music was popular in the 1940s, and I don't think that if you ever know these artists I'm going to mention. However, if you are a fan of jazz or blue, I don't think the swing is a popular genre these days. But jazz and blue are still. So if you are a fan of jazz or blue, you might have known or you might have heard these names. They can be Rosemary Clooney or Frank Sinatra, Glenn Miller. So those names are very unfamiliar to me because I've never take interest in. I never found interest in jazz or blue or swing, any of that. But in the 1940s, jazz and blue was the most popular genre of music of the time and was also known as part of the swing era. Swing jazz was a genre of music that started the swing dance craze. You can learn how to swing dance. Yeah, swing dance is a type or a category of dance. You can learn it and you can see how well it goes with jazz and blue because yeah, this type of dance was originally invented for this certain type of music. So yeah, it can go along with each other very well. And in the 40s, there can some of the most classic holiday songs come out, including the White Christmas by Bing Crosby and the Christmas song by Nat King Cole. For me, I've never heard any of those two songs, but maybe it somehow has been played in some mall because you know what, Christmas playlist is not very varied and it's not very wide. So some of them might play some old music back in the days, back in the 40s. So you may have heard one of these songs, but you might not know the name. So they are White Christmas and the Christmas song. Okay. And then later on from the 1950s, we have rock and roll, bebop, big band, and country music. You can easily understand by looking at the picture. You see the man having a style of a rock star, right? Because simply, 1950s was the start of the rock and roll music revolution. And during this decade, rock and roll was inspired by the music from the 40s, especially during the swing era. You see, they have the connection. In the 50s, yeah, this name, Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, was one of the pioneer of this music revolution. So Elvis Presley, I think at least once in your life you may have heard of his name. So yeah, this time was the prime time of Elvis Presley because yeah, he is the king of rock and roll. And yeah, this time rock and roll was the revolution in the music industry. Some other artists we can mention here like Little Richard, Ray Charles, and Chuck Berry was also the leaders in this new genre. Mm, and as the popular music grew in popularity, there was more interest in the industry, which led to the first annual Grammy Award in 1958. And yeah, because the impact of Elvis Presley on rock and roll in specifically, as well as music in general, was tremendous. So that is why the first annual Grammy Awards was invented due to the rise in the interest of music industry. And the prestigious award show honor to the music industry most talented producers, songwriters, and musicians. And until now, Grammy Award is still held, but I don't know how many annually, right? Yeah, Grammy Award is still held annually, and these name a lot of artists, a lot of singers, popular singers got the Grammy Awards, and I think some of you might have watched it on YouTube or on TV also, because this is a very big event in the music industry or in entertainment industry. So yeah, that is the 1950s, the era of rock and roll. Then moving on to the 1960s, I don't know what is this one, but it looks kind of ridiculous. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah, so in the 1960s, Motown, rock and roll, and the British invasion. So in the early 1960s, folk music was significant influence led by artists like Bob Dylan. Yeah, Bob Dylan is a very famous singer. You may have heard of this name also. And Joan Baez and the group Peter, Paul, and Mary. So in the 1964, the Beatles explode to the international scenes. The Beatles, leading the British invasion bands like the Rolling Stones, another band of rock and roll, the Animals, and the Dave Clark Five. The Animals, I don't heard of that. The Dave Clark Five, never. But eventually, folk hits incorporates elements of rock music to create a subgenre, folk rock or hard rock or psychedelic music. So for people, let's say for teen these days, if you introduce this type of song to to teen these days, I don't think that they would spend like more than 10 seconds listening to a song because, well, teen these days more like into pop and all those stuff, but not this type of music back in the day. But however, for those who are interested in rock and roll Motown or have some specific idol like Bob Dylan or the Rolling Stone, they definitely like like this music in the 1960s. And the 1960s was also the time of tremendous social change that was reflected in the music, in the music of the decade. Protest music was created by bands like the Mamas and the Peppers, along with many other influenced artists. So yeah, music comes along with the revolution, comes along with the social change. So as you can see, music has a very big impact on human life. Living alone, the mental health or the physical health, but in general, the social life, it's also affected, right? And then in the 1960s, in the 1970s, We have disco, Motown, and R&B. The 1970s brought on more music genre than ever before, with the rise of funk, soul, R&B, pop, hard rock, soft rock, and disco. And not to mention the early stage of hip hop was also being formed at this time. There are some famous artists we have to mention here, like Led Zeppelin, The Eagle, David Bowie, Stevie Wonder, and Elton John were just some of the iconic stars of the decades. And the 70s was also the time where music became more accessible and affordable to fans due to the popularity of okay, I hate myself. I just searched this word a few days ago and I forgot how to pronounce it correctly. Vinyl record. Vinyl, yes, shit, see, vinyl records. So if you don't know what is vinyl records, I'm gonna type it here for you. Vinyl records are the type of, let's say, is a method of listening to music in the past. So you might see on Tom and Jerry or some old ass cartoon, good old cartoon back in the day. You will see in some certain episode there is a disc player. I don't know, like this is the vinyl player, but I don't know what is that called. Vinyl player. Yeah, it is called the vinyl player. The vinyl player is a big box, and the vinyl thing is a big disc that is black. And that is the way you put needles on it. There, the vinyl player will spin the disc, and the needles will read the signal on the disc and make music throughout the speaker. So that is about the vinyl player and the vinyl. In this time, music, as I said, like if you want to know more about this vinyl thing, it is the Italian dance. But yeah, as I said, it becomes more popular due to the popularity of vinyl records, and soon not everyone owned a record player. Oh yeah, a record player or a vinyl player, either is fine. An artist was also able to add more than 4 songs per album because of this new technology. So yeah, a vinyl record allowed artists to put more than 4 songs per album. So that is why music has started to develop since then. Music become more popular and more accessible to people due to the advancement of technology in the 1970s. Sorry, I have a pretty bad throat today. And then moving on to the 1980s, you see who is it, right? Michael Jackson, king of pop. So in the 1980s, we have glam rock, pop, hip hop, and country. So during 1980s, music started to express visually through music video. So yeah, in the 1980s, people start to shoot music videos. You see how music has changed, right? And the rise of MTV. Genres like hip hop, new wave, and metal, like the rock, but a little bit extreme, more than rock. So metal is the thing that would scream into your ear. So yeah, those three type of genre uh, slowly rose in popularity. Artists like Madonna, known as the Queen of Pop, Michael Jackson, known as the King of Pop, Prince, Cyndi Lauper, Janet Jackson, and Whitney Houston were some of the most influential artists of this unforgettable music decades. Yeah, I think in the 1980s, some of the song is still popular until now because for not popular but still familiar with the people at my age. because yes, some of them are still being played elsewhere, in somewhere like in the mall or in some restaurants, because yeah, because of the impact or because of the meaning or let's say the unforgettable music decades of this one. So that is why it still lasts until now. But as you can see, for other type of music, which is like the 70s, no, not other type, but other frame, other time frame of music like the 70s, the 60s. Not many artists were known to the teens these days. Taking for example, in this case, this is me. I don't know any of the artists I mentioned in the first three slides, but for the 80s, I know maybe 80% of them. So that is why, you know, the impact of music in the 1980s was very, very big. Okay, and moving on to 1990s. 1990s, we have grunge, alternative, rap, and country. The early 1980s has a very grunge vibe. Grunge, you can see, I don't know how to describe the word grunge for you. Grunge, shit. Okay, let me see. So grunge, which means a type of loud rock music, which was popular in the 90s, right? But if you hear a name like you see the picture Nirvana, you might have known them. Not for their music, but for their face or for their image, for the illustration you're wearing on your shirt, although you don't know who they are. That's it. Okay, so Nirvana broke the mold of the existing genre, and Nirvana songs didn't fit into a specific genre. Their music was a combination of alternative rock, classic rock, and hard metal. Girls band like the Spice Girl, the Dixie Chick, and the Indigo Girls encouraged women empowerment and was reflected in the 19th music. Other female artists like Sarah McLachlan or Annalise Moriste and Sheryl Crow topped the chart during this time and continued to push the interest in female music. Also, in this era, hip hop and rap become more mainstream with the iconic rapper like Tupac, the Notorious B.I.G., Ice-T, and giving the genre more clout. Ice-T headlined the first Lollapalooza music festival held in 1991. Lollapalooza, I think I heard about this one. This is a very, very big music festival back in the day. And it is still held into today. And yeah, this year, 2023, it's gonna be held in Grand Park, Chicago, on August the 3rd to August the 6th. Okay, so if you are interested in music, you can book a ticket, fly to America, Chicago, and enjoy 3 days full of music, right? Thank you. So yeah, Nirvana. Yeah, the more I think about this, the more ridiculous it's become because a lot of teens these days wear the shirt they don't know who the fuck they are. So okay. I'm not gonna judge about that, but it's funny. Right. So in the 2000s, the 2000 is the age of adult contemporary and R&B. So in the early 2000s, the rise of the internet brought up music sharing. This was the birth of iTunes, which is let's say Monopoly. No, not Monopoly. iTunes belongs to the Apple, you know, Napsters and YouTube. So in the 2000s, that is when the internet was invented, which make music even more accessible to people. And yeah, even it may become a little bit more affordable since you can watch it free on YouTube. And the 2000 was the era of boy bands like the Backstreet Boys and the NSYNC. along with teen pop superstar like Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera. Okay, this name is very difficult to pronounce. Christina Aguilera. And this time, at this decades, like from 2000, R&B has a new sound with artists like Beyonce, Usher, Alicia Keys, and Rihanna creating contemporary R&B. Some of the singers like Taylor Swift, Carrie Underwood, Keith Urban, and Tim McGraw helped country music become more and more mainstream. Uh, so in this case, I would think that would be Taylor Swift is the name that's leading in the country music genre. Or if not, she is the one that mostly known to people other than Carrie Underwood or Keith Urban. Some of the kids these days might not know them, but if you mention Taylor Swift, yeah, definitely. And yes, at this time, rappers like Kanye West, Notorious, Jay-Z, and J. Cole began topping the chart with competing with many of other A-list artists. A-list artists would be, how can I say, A-list artist is sao hàng in Vietnamese. So if you ever encounter this word in your translation, yeah, A-list artist, not the A-star artist, okay? Yeah, A-list artist. Let me type it here for you. Okay, shares. News artist. Cool. If you look into this picture, I think you know who it is. Eminem. Eminem. Yeah, sorry. Sometimes I just read his name like Eminem, like the candy thing, but his name is Eminem. Eminem. Okay, cannot change. Sorry. All right. So from the 2010 10th to today, it is the age of EDM and hip hop. So in the 2010s, pop performers like Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars, Ed Sheeran, Adele, Pink, Shawn Mendes, Maroon 5, and many more iconic artists make sick music. Like rapper, we have Kendrick Lamar, like Drunk, and Kendrick Lamar has the song Drunk, Oh This Is America. And then we have Drake, Nicki Minaj, Travis Scott, Migos, Post Malone, Cardi B, and Big Sean was all responsible for hip hop and rap rise in popularity. So these rappers has play a very important role in pushing this genre of music, hip hop, into another level. EDM also become more mainstream with music icons like Britney Spears and Kanye West incorporating it into their new album. And the paved way for DJs like David Guetta, Skrillex, or Major Lazer, Avicii, the Chainsmoker, Calvin Harris, and Zeke to create some hype music. So yeah, I remember back in the 2010s, I was around 11 or 12 at that time. And I was watching the V channel on TV every day, like at least there would be a song of David Guetta, a song of Davichi, a song of Chainsmoker, a song of Calvin Harris. Yeah, at least every day I heard those artists all over again. Because you know what, at this time EDM is a new thing. Not really the new thing, but it is the new wave for the music industry, which draw a lot of attentions of audience into this new genre of music. But you can see like music is timeless. It has dramatically shifted throughout the decades as it continues to give us new sounds and new favorites. And the music that defines each decade is different, and our culture wouldn't be the same without each and every piece of music developed throughout history. And with the start of the 2020s, we have the power to decide what music defines this decade and many more to come. So yeah, I think I cannot guess, but I think in the 2020s, the trend of music shift towards yeah, it's just like 2 years in this decade, so I cannot guess or I cannot predict. But in 2022, if if I have to list the genre of music more popular, this would be EDM. Specifically, would be the funk music. Funk music, you see a lot of them on what is that? Oh yeah, on TikTok. Yeah. So funk music is a subcategory of EDM, and it is not for everyone since it's pretty electronic and pretty heavy. Mhm. And then we also witnessed the rise in the indie music for the last 2 or 3 years. Maybe no, no, maybe for the last from the 2010s we have indie music already. But yeah, I think 2020s is not the prime time for indie music, but maybe for EDM and hip hop also continue the their legacy of music industry. However, let's wait and see. Maybe if I ever do a live stream in 2030s, we're gonna look back to the 2020s. Right. Thank you. So yes, since I've mentioned a lot of genre of music, you might question what is genre and why didn't I give you the definition? So here it goes. I sorry, because I don't want to put the genre the definition of genre in just the definition, but I spent a whole slide for it, so just gonna put it here. So genre is a particular type or style of literature, art, film, or music that you can recognize because of its special features. So the question here is that how many genre of music are there? Well, you see, like from what you have seen in the previous few slides, you can count maybe up to 10 type of genre, right? 10 genres. But however, that is just a very, very small number comparing to the actual number of existing genre of music. So according to the music journalist, there exists 41 primary genre of music. And within those genre of music, primary category, we have 337 subcategories of music. You see? So yeah, I think we just should just count on the primary genre because you don't want to search for your type of music in 337 different selection different options. Okay, so just simply 41 primary genre of music. Yeah, so so most of the primary sets and subsets might have meaning to certain music level, but there was those that kind of confused because because if you ever listen to jazz or if you like jazz, you can actually visualize how it sounds in your head. But for the subcategory like Enka music or Kayokyoku, mm, those music stay pretty close to jazz. However, that is the different thing, and it's very, very difficult to tell the difference or differentiate between them and jazz itself. So yeah, whatever music you listen to. However, like just not really important like what genre of music you listen to as long as you like it. So yeah, just give you a quick information about um how various music is. Okay. How diverse, yeah, how diverse music is. Shit. I think I'm losing my vocabulary now. Okay, but talking about music, you might think music is just a tool or a means of entertainment. However, it is it is more than that, because you can see music bring to us a lot of benefits, which is what I'm going to mention down here. Okay, so benefits of music. Let's talk about the benefits of music on the brain. So it stimulates most of the area of your brain. So music activates almost all of your brain's different regions and networks. It also strengthens connections between different parts of the brain. And this include the area responsible for emotions, memory, learning, well-being, cognitive functions, and including focus and concentration. So yeah, you might have heard that some of the people giving the advice that you should listen to Mozart music when you are pregnant in order to give your kids or your children maybe a little bit more intelligence upon their birth. This can be true because there are some study that was carried out to verify whether this statement is true or not, and it's actually true. If you listen to Mozart or to some music at a certain type of frequency, I don't really know what is the perfect frequency of music for pregnancy. Yeah, so different type of frequency in music will have certain purpose for it. So for the pregnancy or fertility, the frequency of music should move around 50 Hz, and duration of few hours or less can have a positive effect on sperm quality, motility, and fertility. You see, and you might have heard or you might have seen on some advertisement like they also let the cow listen to music in order to give the best product. Yeah, that is not new. However, when I first read that thing, I was kind of stunned, like, oh, like, does it understand anything? Like, what is singing? But the matters of fact, it is the frequency of music that's matter. It's not the lyrics or anything that build emotion or anything for the cow. But that is the frequencies in the song that matter for the efficiency in terms of products of the cow. So yeah, I've never tried the listening to music cow. Let me call that because it's quite bullshit. But I never tried to eat the listening to music cow. But if you have ever tried that, please leave it in the comment section below. Let me know how does it taste. Does it taste any different from the normal cow? Okay. Okay, and then it's also music also boost your creativity. Yeah, obviously, many of many people, including you who are watching the live stream, can somehow agree on this one because when you listen to music, you feel refreshed. You feel let's say you come up with new ideas. You feel open-minded. So create music does not only allow us to create art, but it also helps with problem solving and creating better products and services. So this makes a core contemporary competency in almost any role. Okay, and yeah, another study carried out giving the results that listening to happy music, such as arousing or uplifting classical music, can enhance your creativity. So yeah, if you are planning to do something creative, try to listen to music. Okay. Then we have another benefit. It is music will help strengthen learning, memory, and cognition. This with this one, I'm not really sure, but as far as I understand or as far as I research about it, listening to soft background music might improve cognition. So still, they extend not to some other extent, like not every people find it useful to listen to music while studying or trying to retain information, but many people do. So I am the one of them. I like to listen to music while I work, but this matter is going to be discussed later as it has a whole explanation for it, and yeah, as well as the result might be varied. So as I said, some people cannot, but some people can. But yeah, we will try to answer the question. Does music goes along with working or studying in the next few slides? Mm, and yeah, so if you are taking a course in studying a language, there is a study found that language learners found it easier to remember phrases after singing them, rather than speaking normally or even rhythmically. Mhm. So yeah, one of my story back then was that I start to like English music. Yeah, because in the past I just listened to karaoke, Google song or anything of that. Hai thằng bạn or anything like rap, Vietnamese rap. But yeah, I attended an English class, and it was an exercise that we have to study, or at least we have to listen to that song. So yeah, I still remember that song's name, Eternal Flame. I never sing it. I never sing, but with that song, I try my best to sing. And from then, I start to draw my interest in the foreign music, especially US UK one. And from now, I really, really love it. So I think listening to music or try to sing would be a very, very good way for you to practice your English as well as, let's say, practice your English as well as remembering new words or learning new words. Right? So and then we have, yeah, music also helps you regulate your mood. It's obvious, right? Like when you listen to the music, the level of stress hormone cortisol drop. It also gives you a boost of dopamine. That is the reward hormone, which can help you to elevate your mood. And the part of the brain is called the I don't know that. Amygdala is responsible for processing music. It is also the center of our mood and emotions. So that is why listening to upbeat music can help put you in a more positive mood. Therefore, listening to happy music regularly can help regulate your brain chemistry. You see, big impacts. This can help you to maintain greater mental and emotional balance. So yeah, if you are out there listening to Bùi Qua Bùi Tuấn or Mr. Zero music, take it easy and try to shift into a more positive one because your mood depends mostly on the type of music you're listening to. So if you're listening to music to Mr. Zero all day, you will feel sad all day. But if you're listening to like Bruno Mars, no, 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 no. Okay, so if you're listening to Khalid or anything like that, that would be another different type of vibe. So yeah, try to choose your music wisely. Don't let it decide your emotions. Cool. And then music also help relieve anxiety and depression. This is very, very true because anxiety affects around 40 million adults in the US, and around half of those also suffer from depression. So if you are one of them, you might want to consider any music as a complement to any medical treatment prescribed by your doctor. Because when you listen to music, your body starts to release dopamine, Dopamine is the hormone that activates your brain reward and pleasure centers. Getting a regular dopamine hits can help you relieve symptoms of depression and anxiety. So yeah, if you wonder what is dopamine, it is the hormone that makes you happy or makes you feel happy, right? Um, okay, that is all I can explain. Right, so when you are happy, your body certainly will have a lot of dopamine. Okay, I think that is the easiest way to understand dopamine. Okay, and yeah, for on the physical side, listening to music also helps you to keep your heart healthy. And research shows that listening to relaxing music can slow your heart rate and lower your blood pressure. This helps you to keep your heart healthy as blood can flow more freely. And music therapy, oh yeah, music therapy could make blood pressure medication more effective. So if people who have high blood pressure, you can, if you don't want to take medicines, I think you also have to take medicine. But yeah, there is something nowadays called the music therapy. It is the new way of treatment, a new method of treatment. Instead of taking pills, instead of listening to the psychologist, you just listen to the music. And yeah, this is actually a career or is a job, because if you are a doctor or if you are a music therapist, you should know what type of music suits your patient's problem. You cannot give a depressed patient EDM and hope he will be happy in a few seconds. No. All right. So everything is specializations. So yeah, music therapist is also a job if you are interested. Okay, and yeah, obviously it can increase your motivation. Yeah, let's say very easy example. When you go to the gym, there is no time the gym don't have music unless you go to the gym at midnight. But yeah, if you go to the gym at the regular hour, definitely it will have some uplifting music, some EDM music that will give you the motivation. Um, yeah, so the research, a lot of research, but the one I'm going to mention here was carried out based on the cyclist. So when they increase the tempo by 10%, the cyclist performance increased interval distance, battling speed, and the power exerted. And decrease the speed of music by 10% has the opposite effect. So as you can see, like when you are doing some extreme sport, like going to the gym, you use a lot of your power, a lot of your energy. That is when you need uplifting music because this can give you an extra mile, or you can go an extra mile. You can go a little bit harder, a little bit longer. So yeah, music play a very important role on your mental health. Okay. And lastly, music also helps to reduce stress. I don't think I need to talk about this one. There are different types of stress, including acute stress and chronic stress. So yeah, listening to music on a regular basis can relieve acute stress, which can prevent it from turning into chronic stress. So yeah, I think music is the inevitable things in our life, since it has not thousand, but many benefits to your health as well as to your life. No. What the hell? Oh, shit. Okay. I shit. Okay, oh my God. Very sorry for this problem. Okay. Forgot to save. This is the old one. cannot delete it on the right. Sorry. Okay. Let's see if I can do anything about and another one. Because well, please give me 1 second. I don't do this very well. I'm really sorry for this one because yeah, I sensed the wrong one. So let's see if I can open it. Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. Okay. Sorry for this technical problem. So yeah, as I said, we're gonna have a oh yeah, I'm not sharing that yet. So screen. Which get this. So as I said, we have the question in the previous at the beginning of the live stream. Can music go along with working or studying? So yeah, I also answer this question like it depends. Many people can work with music however, many people cannot do it. But yeah, many people find music help them to concentrate while studying and working. Others find it hard to focus with the background noise. So music offer a lot of benefits, including improved mood, increased motivation, boost concentration, improve memory and brain stimulation, better management of pain and fatigue. So yeah, as I said in the previous slide, music can reduce stress and improve your mood. So it can somewhat give you the energy or the power to work through the problem you are working on, as well as it motivates you. It motivates you, also mentioned, and memorize new information. So according to a 2014 study, listening to classical music helped you to help older adults to perform better on memory and processing tests. These findings suggest certain type of music can boost memorization abilities and other cognitive functions. But on the other hand, for the people who cannot have the two things at the same time, using and working or studying, you might have heard like some of the reason like music will distract them. Yeah, music impacts like mostly on the power to distract. And when you feel sad or stressed, you can distract yourself with your favorite tunes that can help you to lift up your spirits. But distraction is not something you would look for when you're hitting the book or when you write essay, when you're doing your final assessment. See? And it can have a negative impact on working memory. So imagine like when you are trying to study something or when you're trying to memorize something, but you have like the music or the noise in the background. Yeah, I'm just saying the melody, right? It's not the lyric. So if imagine, right? If imagine you are studying for your final test this semester, and in your ears you hear Gangnam Style, Despacito, or anything like that. I bet you cannot remember anything because well, those song has a lot of lyrics and the noise would be something you would avoid when you are working on something that you need to remember. So in this case, I would say the classical music or the non-lyric one, Nhạc Khơi Lòng, would be the best genre of music for you when you are learning or working? Okay. So another tip for you when coming to choosing music when you're working or studying would be avoid music with lyrics already said. Choose slow and instrumental music. Avoid surprising or experimental music and keep the volume low, right? Study music should stay at the background volume, at the level of background volume. It cannot be like the bar volume or the club volume. You cannot bang your eardrum like in the bar, the pub. But keep it low because the main task you're doing is not listen to music. It's not having fun. But the thing you are doing, or the primary goal of you here is to finish the book or you're reading, or to finish the essay you're writing. So just try to keep it low so it cannot distract you from what you are doing. Okay. And stick to songs that you don't have strong feelings about. So listening to music either love or hates can affect your ability to concentrate. So that is why if you're having a hard time and listening to Mr. Zero, Bun Bun or Han Bun, right? Yeah, Han Bun, and anything of that artist, uh, I bet your essay is gonna be soaked with tears, anything of that. So don't listen to music with strong emotions, strong feelings, because as I said, your goal is to finish the thing you are doing, not to enjoy the music. And yes, streaming commercial-free music if possible. So imagine this, picture this. If you're listening to your instrumental Pandora station, when a toilet paper commercial cuts in, annoying you and derailing your train of thoughts. See? Or let's say when you are going on a very smooth flow of thoughts, like when the music, let's say when the music hits, and you got that smooth flows of thoughts, and then suddenly a YouTube ad jump in, talking some crazy shit, a thing that you wouldn't care about, but that thing will definitely cut off your flow of thoughts and yeah, derailing your train of thought. So, if possible, try to stream commercial-free music platform. We're also gonna try to give you some of the streaming platform, music streaming platform that you can choose from for the best experience with music. Okay. So yeah, the bottom line of this one, I would say, music can improve your mood and help you feel more motivated to tackle important tasks, but it doesn't always work as a study tool. And even people who love music might find it less than helpful when trying to concentrate. So choosing music carefully can help you to maximize its benefits. But if you still struggle to focus, it may help. It may help to consider white noise or other audio options instead. Um, if you are okay, so this is not related to music, but a lot of people prefer to work without noise. So for those people, well, if they are staying alone, that is possible. But if they are staying in the office or if they are staying in a cafe, but they still prefer working without noise, or yeah, they don't want any of the background noise. You can try the white noise audio. Search it on YouTube, and you will have it. It doesn't have any sounds. Or if you have a pair of headphones or a pair of headphone or earphone that have the ANC function, which is active noise cancelling, then it can be a great tool for you to avoid some unwanted noise around you. So I think a lot of headphones and earphones now that they have that function, although the price is pretty pricier than the normal headphone. One of those I would recommend you would be the Sony X. Uh, remember, like the Sony Yeah, WH-1000 X Mark IV. That is the best earbud in the market these days. Do we have Mark 5 now? Oh yeah, we have the Mark 5. Yeah, Mark 5 is even better and it's a little bit pricier. But Mark 4, I think, personally, I think Mark 4 is the good one already. And yeah, you can expect the quality from Sony. But if you are a fan of other brands like Bose or Sennheiser or Apple, like Apple nowadays we have the AirPod Pro, we also have the active noise cancelling, as well as the AirPod Max, right? AirPod Pro, AirPod Max, AirPod Pro. Yeah, AirPod Pro is the headphone version of the AirPod, and that thing is, let's say, the top notch, not the top notch, but the highest price in the market nowadays. Some of them, some of the Apple's fans might find it's good, but yeah, personally, yeah, I'm talking about my experience on headphones. So personally, if you like everything neutral, if you like everything like balanced at the finest level, you can choose AirPod. Yes, I don't say AirPod is bad. I don't say AirPod because AirPod or Apple audio is, let's say, one of the top-notch industry already. I don't say it's bad, but it's not for me. Because everything is so balanced, everything is so neutral. So in some genre of music, it's not suited for such device. But you see, that is the that is the strategy of Apple. Like it can make a product that suits everybody, everybody's demands. So yeah, AirPods for everyday use. But if you like something with extra bass or something with more in-depth or high definition sounds, you can go with Sony or Sennheiser or Bose or let's say Bang& Olufsen if you have a lot of money. So yeah, lots of brands, lots of choice, but choose as well. Let's say make a good choice when it comes to your favorite genre of music to choose your headphone. That's it. Okay, and lastly, we're gonna talk about most viewed song on YouTube. The results may stay the same for the past few years. Despacito. Despacito with 3.7 billion views until today. So you see. Although it is not the what is that called? The international language is Latin. That is the Latin language. I don't know what language it is, but I think it's Latin. Yeah, it is not really the international language. However, it takes the lead in the highest view of YouTube songs. So yeah, maybe the melody is good, but I don't want the song too popular. See You Again, very meaning song back in the day, like 2017, right? With two, 3 point, not 3.6, but 3 billion, yeah, more than 3 billion views, taking the second place in this list. Then we have Gangnam Style, very popular in the 2015s, 2014s, around that time, but with 2.9 billion views. And Sorry by Justin Bieber with 2.7 billion views. And yeah, we don't have a lot of space in this page, so yeah, I'm gonna mention the last option, the last most viewed song on this list would be the Uptown Funk by Mark Ronson and Bruno Mars with 2.6 billion views. You see, music become more and more popular nowadays, and artists can make a lot of money on these views also. Great. Thank you. So yeah, lastly, as promised, we're gonna recommend you some of the best music streaming platform available nowadays, and some of them you might have never heard of it. Watch. We're gonna put it here because it's good. Okay, first one. Top of the list we have Tidal. Tidal is the high quality audio quality. Let's say a platform that provides you with high quality audio with wide range of content. Where is it? So yeah, let's say Tidal is suitable for those who are enthusiasts in music. It's not for regular users, not for teens, not for kids. It is for the people with high enthusiasm in music because Tidal is expensive in terms of fee. So it's around $10 per month for the subscription. And the good thing about Tidal is that it offers very high end, a very high quality audio, which is the lossless audio. So you can imagine, right? For a for a picture, for a photo, if it is saved in low quality, it should be around two megabytes. But if it is saved in RAW or PNG, it's going to be somewhere around 40s to 70s megabytes. So that is the same for regular music and lossless music. So lossless music will have higher sound quality, and that is the best choice for those who are enthusiastic in music as well as music instruments. Okay, it has the high-res master track intuitive interface, but the reason to avoid Tidal is that there are many other platforms also offer high resolution music for less. So yeah, make a good choice. Okay, then we have Spotify. Don't need to talk about that. Controversial, universal, easy to use and discover new music. You can expect exhaustive discoveries feature, intuitive interface, and free tier. But the drawback of Spotify is that other platform might sound better than it, and it offers no lossless or high resolution of audio yet. And some artists have left Spotify. Yeah, I think the reason behind this is because Spotify pays very low per count on the view counts. Some of the story I heard back in the day is that if you put a song on Spotify and if you have pretty low, let's say, you're not really famous or you're not very well known and your song doesn't have a lot of view counts. So if your song hits around 10,000 views, you only get a few cents or maybe $1. That's why Spotify doesn't pay very high for artists. And then we have Apple Music. Yeah, Apple Music specifically for Apple, an appealing streaming service with intelligent curation and a vast catalog and great sound quality. So the advantages of Apple Music is that it has well curated playlist and high resolution sound quality for little money, and it has excellent catalog. But it also have plenty of rival options and need an external DAC to lossless stream. Okay, that is the detail for the first three platform. But beside that, we have Deezer or Qobuz. So yeah, Qobuz is the most advanced streaming ecosystem out there, but not necessarily the best value. All right, so yeah, those are the new one. But let's talk about the familiar one with you. We have SoundCloud, a very, very good platform in my opinion. But let's say not in Vietnam because SoundCloud, a lot of songs on SoundCloud, a lot of artists on SoundCloud has blocked Vietnam. So that is what blocked Vietnam or the Southeast Asia region in general. So some of the popular songs or some of the songs from famous artists, you cannot listen to them on SoundCloud. However, SoundCloud is, let's say, the best platform available for upcoming artists or runner-up, because yeah, it is the platform for indie artists. So if you are into indies music, SoundCloud is the thing that is the go-to for you because it doesn't require any type of money. It doesn't charge you unless you want it to charge you. Okay. Yeah, it still has the premium version. However, it doesn't have any so much change from the free one. So if you don't have that much of demands, you can still use SoundCloud without paying anything. But for Spotify, if you don't pay, they will scream every, let's say, they will they will shout or give you a random advertisement between songs, which is very annoying because you know what, like when you are in the mood, when you are, let's say, in the mood for sad songs, when you're listening to sad song, you feel sad, you feel down, and boom, there is an ice cream advertisement. Would you accept that? No, right? So yeah, SoundCloud is my go-to. No ads, no charge, and a lot of indie music for you to choose from. Okay, and then we have nhạc của tôi using MP3 would be the options for the Vietnamese people nowadays, but I don't think nowadays people still use nhạc của tôi using MP3 because it is very limited. Because it is very limited platform. A lot of people now switch to use Apple Music or Spotify instead. Oh, even SoundCloud. So I think Spotify, YouTube, and SoundCloud are three of the most popular music streaming platform in Vietnam, not in the world. Okay. So yeah, that is also the closing sentence of our live stream today. So thank you for tuning in and watching the live stream today. So if you have any other, let's say, options or other platform of streaming music you want to recommend to us, please leave it down in the comment section below and let me know. Okay, so thank you very much for tuning in, but that is all the duration we have for the live stream today. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you again on the next live stream, which is on next Monday. So peace out and have a nice year ahead. Yeah, pretty sounds on closing on there.